Welcome to the deep dive. We take that stack of sources you send us, pull out the critical insights, and basically deliver the knowledge you need straight to your ears. Today, we're doing a deep dive into, well, a really fascinating figure from Assam, India, Sar Sing Teron, maybe better known by his traditional title, Langkung Habe. Yeah, our sources track a life that was lived right in the middle of massive change. But more than that, he actively shaped that change. So our mission here is to understand his influence, specifically as the founder-president of the KARBI ADORBAR, that's the KARBI National Council. We're going to explore how he and the organization managed this kind of incredible balancing act, supporting the India freedom movement wholeheartedly, but also, fiercely demanding local self-determination for the KARBI people.
Absolutely. And this figure, Sar Sing Teron, he gives us an incredible window into state formation, really. Often when you study India's independence, the focus is naturally on the big national movements, Gandhi, Nehru, the Congress Party.
Right, the headline names.
Exactly. But Teron's story shows how these specific organized tribal groups were absolutely crucial in, well, structuring the political geography we still see today. So for you, the listener, this history shows the map wasn't just drawn from the top down, it was also built from the local level, pushing upwards.
That's such a key point. It's about local agency, isn't it? Not just waiting for things to happen, but using that moment of huge national change to secure their own future.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We should start, I think, with the man himself, Sar Sing Teron, the Langkung Habe. The sources give us the basics. Born February 7th, 1898.
Yes, parents Sarmin Teron and Kashe Bepi.
And he grew up in the Langkung Habe region, which is in the Rongkhang area.
Yeah.
That's now West Karbi Anglong.
That's right. And later moved to a village called Rongkhang, near the river Karbi Langpi, also known as Borpani.
Now, his education. The sources mentioned it was quite brief, formally speaking, up to class 3 at Goligat Christian Missionary School.
It was brief, yes, by today's standards. But what's really striking is that his influence, his authority, didn't primarily come from that formal schooling. Ah, okay. So where did it come from?
It seems deeply rooted in local traditional governance structures, much older systems.
Which brings us to that title, Langkung Habe. The sources also mention his marriage to Ker Angtipi of Langshingbar, but the title seems central.
It really is central. To get what he did later, you need to understand the role of the Habe. He was actually ordained the Habe by the KARBI king, the Lindakapo.
Ordained, so like officially appointed.
Exactly. Think of the Habe as the king's authorized representative for a specific area. He had real governing power locally. Teron's area was Hungram, which was traditionally known as Umlarong Rongkhang.
Wow. So he wasn't just, a respected village elder. He held an actual recognized position in that traditional system.
Precisely. And while some apparently called him Rongkhang Habakong, referring to the area, the title that stuck, the one everyone knew, was Langkung Habe.
Why that one?
The sources suggest it was simply because he lived and worked near the Karbi Langpi River, Langkung Habe. That detail feels really significant looking ahead. He's already a leader, he understands administration, command, but within that traditional framework.
Yes. That's the key insight, I think. When he moves into modern political organizing later, he's not starting from scratch.
He's building on an existing foundation of legitimacy. People already recognize his authority.
Absolutely. That existing power, that title, Langkung Habe, it gave him real weight. He wasn't just starting some new activist group. He spoke for an established community, which leads us right into the formation of the KARBI ADORBAR, his political vehicle.
Okay, the KARBI ADORBAR, let's get into that. The founding date we have is May 3rd, 1940.
Correct. At a big gathering in Kolfulgori, that's in the Nogayan district of Assam.
And the purpose. The sources say it was an assembly of KARBI people to discuss and solve various problems of the KARBI society. Very practical.
Very practical, very direct, problem-solving in a time of huge upheaval.
And the leadership team chosen there tells a story in itself, doesn't it?
It really does. Sar Sing Teron Langkung Habe is selected as founder-president. He holds that role until 1948.
8 years. And the general secretary?
Simson Singh Ingti. And the sources note his qualification, BA, Bachelor of Arts.
So you have the traditional authority figure, Teron, partnered with someone holding modern academic credentials. That feels intentional.
Oh, absolutely. It looks like a stroke of strategic brilliance. Teron brings the deep connection to the people, the traditional power.
Right.
Inti brings the skills to navigate the modern political world, the bureaucracy, the national leaders.
Bridging the old and the new.
Exactly. The KARBI ADORBAR was built to do just that.
Okay, so here's where, for me, it gets really compelling. This Adorbar wasn't just focused on one thing. They were engaged in what the sources frame as a dual political struggle.
That's right. Two major goals pursued at the same time under Teron and Ingti.
What were they?
Well, first, the big picture. Full participation in the India freedom movement. Complete commitment to ending British rule. They saw their future tied to an independent India.
Okay, that makes sense. Aligning with the national cause. But the second objective,
The second was intensely local, focused purely on KARBI self-determination within that future India. They demanded a separate Hills District of Assam, specifically for the KARBI people.
wow. Okay, so hold on. They're fighting for independence alongside everyone else, but simultaneously saying, and when this is over, we need our own administrative space.
Yes. Think about the political tightrope they had to walk.
Yeah, that sounds incredibly tricky.
They had to be fully committed to the national cause, couldn't appear divisive, but they also couldn't let their specific needs get lost in the shuffle. It required very careful political maneuvering.
How did they manage that? Did they get pushback from, say, the National Congress leaders about this separate district demand?
The sources suggest their strategy was effective. By being so clearly for Indian independence first, their demand for a Hills district wasn't easily dismissed as, separatism.
I see.
They framed it as a logical extension of the very principle of self-rule everyone was fighting for. If India deserved self-rule, then didn't distinct communities within India also deserve appropriate administrative structures?
Clever. It aligns their local goal with the national ideology.
Precisely. And this strategic clarity made the KARBI ADORBAR really effective. They essentially put the KARBI community's needs on the table as a non-negotiable part of building the new India.
And did it work? Did this activism actually lead to something concrete?
It absolutely did. The sources are clear on this.
Because of these efforts, led by Teron and the Adorbar, the United Mikir and North Cachar Hills District of Assam was officially created.
Yes, on November 17th, 1951, just a few years after independence.
So that's the payoff. Not just a promise, but actual governmental restructuring.
That date, 1951, is so significant. It shows a direct line from organized tribal demands to real changes in the structure of the new Indian state right at the beginning.
It proves that these local movements weren't just sideshows. They were actively shaping the nation.
They really were.
So, after the district is created, what happens to Sar Sing Teron? Does he step back?
Quite the opposite, actually. He transitions again. From traditional leader and organizing president into a modern electoral politician.
Really? So he runs for office?
He does. In 1952, the very next year, he contested the election for the new Mikir Hills District Council.
The body he helped create.
Exactly. He ran in the Rongkhang MDC constituency, and he won.
So Langkung Habe, the king's representative, becomes an elected member of the 1st District Council. That's quite a journey.
It really is. It shows incredible adaptability, doesn't it? He navigated the shift from one political system to a completely different one and kept his influence.
And the sources add a fascinating little detail about that first election.
Oh, yes, the voting center. Vote at Langso was the only polling station for that entire election at that time.
Just one place to vote.
Just one. You have to imagine the logistics, the effort involved for voters, for candidates. It really highlights how new and, well, basic the democratic infrastructure was right at the start.
It really grounds it, doesn't it? Puts that transition into perspective. And he continued this work for many more years.
He did. He lived a long life, deeply involved in the political project he helped launch. The sources state he passed away peacefully on December 5, 1979.
At 81 years old.
Yeah.
At his home in Rongkhang.
Yes. A remarkable life.
So if we were to sum up his legacy, what's the main takeaway for us today?
I think the legacy is that bridge he built and successfully crossed.
The bridge between?
Between traditional authority, the Langkung Habe, and modern political organization, the founder-president of the KARBI ADORBAR. He used the legitimacy of the first to power the second.
And the result was tangible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Securing that defined political space, the district, and democratic rights for the KARBI people within the new India.
And looking at the bigger picture, the creation of that district back in 1951, it's just undeniable proof, isn't it? Proof of what focused, organized local advocacy can achieve.
Even amid the chaos and complexity of a huge national transition like India's independence.
It really makes you think.
It does. And maybe that's the final thought for you, the listener, based on what we've discussed today from these sources. We often learn history through the lens of big national narratives, but reflecting on the KARBI ADORBAR story, how much of India's political map, its federal structure as it exists today, was shaped not just by those major freedom movements, but also by these highly specific, determined local organizations forming and pushing their own unique claims right alongside the national struggle.
That's simultaneous action, the dual mandate. It's a powerful idea, making sure your specific needs are addressed, even when, maybe especially when, everything else is changing around you. A fascinating deep dive. Thank you for joining us.